Hey guys, welcome to Pacing and Racing. Today's video is going to be based on training your body for the 42.2 full marathon distance. Now, I've had a lot of questions on how to safely do so and how to train this in both increasing your pace, increasing your distance, and how to work on your nutrition effectively in order for you to be ready for the full 42.2 kilometers. So in this video, I've outlined some great ways with many alternative options for you to get yourself ready, whether it's your first race or you're just trying to increase your overall personal best time for a 42.2 full marathon. So without any further ado, let's get into it.
Okay, guys, so let's get started. So first off, a little quote: it's better to be 10% undertrained than to be 1% overtrained. And what that's saying is that if you need to take a couple extra days of recovery, then that's more beneficial to your body long term and to your training long term than if you were to overtrain and then get injured and be out of the running essentially. So with that in mind, let's get into the marathon training week philosophy. So I like to do one long paced run each week. And now within this category, there's going to be a few different types of distances and ways you're going to go about that. So we'll get into that just in a second here. Now, one fast tempo run, which is a short to mid distance, but at a faster pace. Do that once a week. And then throw in 2 to 3 high intensity interval training or strength training workouts. That's going to really help keep your balance, reduce injury, get overall muscle, which will help with speed and endurance. So that's just a good thing to throw into your training week. And lastly, 2 recovery days. Now, especially if you're just starting out training for full marathons, 2 recovery days at a minimum is necessary. But overall, go with how your body feels. If you need a couple extra days, then take it. Just remember that quote up top here. So what does your run look like for long distance running? There's 3 styles of long runs you should be alternating between. That is an endurance stacking, a race pace long run, and a maintenance long run. Ultimately, listen to your body. If you need more recovery, do so. So now let's get into what each of these 3 types of long distance runs are. So the first one is endurance stacking. This is essentially where you're increasing your kilometers and do it at an easy and relaxed pace. Now remember, follow the rule of no more than 10% increase per week. And essentially, if you're going over 20 kilometers in distance, then that's safe to say that less than 10% is 2 kilometers. So I like to do 2 kilometer max increase per week because that lets me do, if I'm doing an out and back training, I can go 1 kilometer out further and 1 kilometer back. Just nice and easy. So that works for me, but just follow that 10% rule. Now, keep this run at a relaxed pace, approximately 1 minute slower per kilometer than your expected marathon race pace. So, example, if you want to run a 5-minute per kilometer marathon, then start doing this endurance stacking at around 6 minutes per kilometer. Now, the benefits to this is it's going to increase fat metabolism, it's going to increase the body's ability to store glycogen, and it's going to help train the mind and muscles for that long distance that you're about to race, essentially. Now, continuing on this, how far do we build up our distance before we taper down? Now, a lot of discrepancy about this, but let me just lay this out here. The objective of the endurance stacking is to keep stacking until you get to your marathon race day time. So there's no exact kilometer distance that you should get to before you taper down. I like to go based off time. So if you expect to do a 4-hour full marathon, which is a 5:40 per kilometer pace, you should be running a 6:40 per kilometer pace for a total time of 4 hours. What this comes out to is 36 kilometers. So if this is your race time, then this is what you would expect to do your run, your longest run before you start tapering down. Now, depending on your expected time and your paces, that will slightly change, but that gives you a bit of an idea of how to do that. So the second style of long run is a race pace long run. So the objective is to actually do a long run with your full marathon pace, but just make sure it's not your furthest distance of long run that you're going to do. So example, if you're running a 30K, which is your longest run, then maybe do this race or this race pace in the long run at about a 22K. Now that's a loose number. Do whatever you feel comfortable doing, but that's just something I would use. Now the benefits to this are that you're training your energy reserves to adapt to the fast and high effort pace on race day. You're also giving your muscles some training and endurance to handle the race pace, and you're giving your body a change from the slower paced, increased distance style of run. Now, lastly, you have your maintenance long run. And this is an easy pace, roughly 1/2 to 3/4 of the length of your longest distance. And typically do this if you feel your body needs a bit more recovery this week than other weeks. As Lionel Sanders says it best in his YouTube video, not every workout has to be your personal best. So you don't have to shoot for the stars every time. These runs are good. The benefits of these, preventing overtraining, but also avoiding that undertraining. So you're not taking too much time off. You're getting back out there. You're just not putting your body through that extreme stress. You're also logging in the kilometers in a safe and efficient manner. Now, to summarize a typical training week for this, you have your one long run, which you're going to alternate between the endurance stacking, the race pace, and the maintenance run. You're going to do a tempo style run, either 5 kilometer speed, 10 kilometer speed, or hill repeats. You're going to do 2 to 3 HIIT workouts or strength training workouts. Some of these examples could be the beep test, doing sprint circuits or suicide sprints, and lastly, weight training. That'll help build up the testosterone, reduce the cortisol, all that kind of stuff, and build some power and some muscle. Lastly, at least 2 days of recovery, or as I like to call them, me days. So do some stretching, yoga, massage, all that sort of thing. One of the biggest important things that people forget is nutrition and hydration. So you might hear about hitting the wall, and essentially what that is, it's when you run out of glycogen stores and your body becomes so dizzy, fatigued, and you're working twice as hard just to produce the same results. If you run too hard at the onset, you'll burn through your glycogen stores too quick. You're going to start switching over to fat stores, and you're going to hit that wall. Now, if you pace yourself out, your body will start to draw from both your glycogen stores and those fat stores at the same time, making it a little bit easier to get that energy for longer. Now, just make sure you're supplementing to ensure you're getting adequate calorie intake, hydration, and especially carbohydrates on your run. Carbohydrates are what replenish these glycogen stores. An example of what an average athlete should be getting is roughly 60 grams an hour. Now, if you look at supplementation, a Gatorade has approximately 45 grams, and a gel pack is usually around 15 grams. Now, on the hydration topic, obviously make sure you're going to stay hydrated, as in a full marathon, you can lose up to 6 liters of fluid loss, some people. Water is great, but it's not the be-all, end-all, and I say that because water will keep you hydrated, but it won't give you any other added benefits that is necessary in distance training. Now, if you look at Gatorade, it gives you that hydration, but it also gives you 45 grams of carbs. It's got sodium, it's got calories, that sort of thing. So again, it all depends on if you feel comfortable drinking Gatorade and if you enjoy it or how it reacts with your body. But it kind of adds that added benefit to give you more supplementation than just water. Also, just prevent from overhydrating, which will cause sloshy stomach, cramping, that sort of thing. Make sure you test out your nutrition before race day to ensure digestion is fine and you don't have any cramps from it. And the biggest thing about this is you should be testing this every time you do your one long run each week. Because these long runs are super stressful on your body, so you need to make sure you're replenishing your body with hydration and adequate nutrition during the training. Now, here's a little bit of physiological occurrence in your body, just for you guys to understand what goes on over those 42.2 kilometers in the race. This is loosely what happens in these stages of the race for the average racer. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, pause it and take some notes. Please feel free to do so. It just kind of talks about when dehydration sets in, when you start tapping into fat stores, and what to expect near the end of the race.
Okay guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found effective strategies in order for you to safely train for a 42.2 kilometer full marathon. If there's any other questions, please feel free to hit me up in YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram by personal message, or even leave a comment below. Now, lastly, if you want to follow any workouts we do, please feel free to hit me up on Strava. The link's below. And again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel for more videos. Again, this video is brought to you by Pacing and Racing, and we hope to see you again. Thanks.